new weekly jobless numbers showing 840,000 Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week alone. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow joins us now. Larry, good morning to you. Always appreciate your time. What does this number tell you about how this economic recovery is going? Because that number hovers at a historic high for this country. And as of this morning, 29 weeks since the coronavirus lockdowns began, the number totals 63 million. That works out to 40% of the U.S. labor force. I mean, this is a lot of Americans still hurting as a result of this pandemic.
I don't deny that a lot of Americans are still hurting. I think there's still a lot of hardship out there. But I do want to note these weekly unemployment claims have fallen sharply from the peaks registered in mid to late April, early May. They've been trending lower now for 5 months. I also want to add to that, Sandra, continuing claims, which is the actual payments, not the applications, but the payments, fell sharply by over 1 million. And that number is usually a pretty good forecaster of the next month's job. So I think the labor situation is looking much better. We're moving in the right direction. I might add 2/3 of the returning jobs come from the lower wage end, so we're prospering there. It's a tough battle. It's not going to be done just in 5 months after the terrible pandemic contraction and all that went with it. But the reality is the economy's in the right direction. It still looks to me very much like a V-shaped recovery. You're going to have a huge number for Q3 GDP. We've been saying 20% plus. You got a lot of people, Atlanta Fed and others, Goldman Sachs saying 35%. Housing boom, autos boom, retailing boom, manufacturing boom going on to restock inventories. When you look at the whole panoply of these numbers, you see a pretty strong self-sustaining recovery. I still think we should have some of the targeted assistance packages that President Trump and Steve Mnuchin are talking about. We can get to that in a second. But I think the economy is in very good footing and really recovering faster than almost anybody thought. And let's not forget, even the Federal Reserve has upped its economic growth forecast for the second half of this year and early next year.
And I do want to point out, to your point, the new claims are the lowest, although still very high, the lowest since March 14th. The continuing claims, you point out, another important number, almost 11 million, but still the lowest since March 28th, Larry. The president just joined Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business. He was asked why he ended those stimulus talks, knowing so many people still need help, including American businesses. Here was his response.
Shut down talks 2 days ago because they weren't working out. Now they are starting to work out. It wasn't our workers' fault. It wasn't our airlines' fault that China did this.
So, Larry, you're advising the president. You see what's happening in the economy. Can you tell the American people that something gets done before Election Day? Does it?
Well, I'd like to. I mean, I don't think the recovery itself depends on a so-called assistance package. However, importantly, we have made targeted pleas for assistance in key areas, and now the president believes we should shift into a stand-alone bills to get the key points through. The big package had way too much spending for state and local bailouts, ended the Hyde Amendment, federal funding for abortion, additional health care for illegal immigrants. There's a whole bunch of things in there that had nothing really to do with COVID or economic recovery. Now, we have been asking, Secretary Mnuchin is doing a great job of difficult negotiations. We would like to see some unemployment assistance. We had an executive order, but that's not going to last forever. We need Congress for unemployment assistance. We'd like to extend the PPP small business loans. There's money left over, $135 billion. Let's use it. The president has signed off on the assistance checks. They're going to be direct mail, but we need legislation to do that. We also want to help the kids get back to school and make the schools as safe as possible. Now, those are just vital, targeted assistance areas that would strengthen the economy, deal with COVID and help those. You know, you mentioned before correctly.
Right. So you'd
that
like
there's
to
a
get
lot
something
of folks
done, but
unemployed. There's a lot of hardship.
this is an important issue, one that we'd like to see.
Let's just help them in a targeted way.
And I've got limited time, Larry. I'm sorry. We'd like to see this hashed out on the debate stage. The president just said virtual, no thank you. He doesn't want to debate Joe Biden virtually. Do you think the president should still do the debate, even though it's now been announced it's virtual?
Well, I think you're going to see a renegotiation of that. I think the president is getting well. He will pass the test. He will be showing negative testing, so I'm not sure that's going to happen. But I do want to say, Sandra, it's so important to me. Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, showed last night in the debate, which he won going away, in a calm manner, he took command of the debate and, crucially, time and again pointed out the key differences between Biden-Harris and Trump-Pence on taxes, on regulations, on energy, on socializing, nationalizing health care, on tough on China and good trade deals, and, of course, right to life and stacking the Supreme Court. He made this so clear. Differences matter, okay? You've got a very extremist left-wing Democratic candidates, and you've got a good mainstream conservative candidates who, by the way, increased living standards by 5 times as much
sounds
in 3
like you want
years
the president
as the
to get
Obama
back to the
people
debate
did in 8
stage.
years.
All right, I'm totally out of time.
I do.
Yeah, I got it.
And I want him on message, and I want him to show the differences between the two teams, as Mike Pence did brilliantly yesterday.
Okay.
And by the way, Mike Pence looked like a president to me.
Larry Kudlow, thank you.